My name is Bruce Landries. I'm the president of Delta Land Development, located here in Vancouver. I've been in the real estate industry for over 40 years and running Delta Land Development for just now 23 years. When I started in the development industry 23 years ago, I looked around and I followed in the footsteps of other developers doing what they did, looking for little ways to try and make it better. The notion of development has evolved in Vancouver, and it's evolved in a form sense in a very good way. But what I didn't realize was what impact we were having on nature. When buildings represent 38% of the carbon of the world, I woke up and realized that we got to do something. Sadly, we've missed a step with nature. We've moved on in a way that works and makes sense in terms of our ability to create magnificent buildings, but we haven't taken into consideration the impact for future generations. And that's what we're trying to change now. We have to think not just about the people who are going to live in those buildings, but what's the impact of those buildings 50 to 100 years from now, and those generations that have no say in those buildings going up today. How do we build what we know is a good form of development in a way that is more climate positive? I assembled what I believe to be the greatest minds in terms of building technology, architecture, and engineering. Could I challenge that team? I said, you have no limitation as your only limitation in terms of creating this building, except for I asked for one thing. It has to be sensible in terms of economics, and it has to be functional for those who occupants are going to use it. We didn't want to make an example of something that wasn't viable, but looked pretty or performed well as it relates to climate change. It had to do all. And we believe that the concept that we have now, Canada's Earth Tower, will do that.
Canada's Earth Tower is important because it represents the will to do the right thing. We know what we need to do. The hard part in the development industry is having the will to do the right thing. Together, we're coming up with a solution that provides the best opportunities for us to do the right thing. Canada's Earth Tower is a unique combination of things. The fact that it's a mixed-use project in a downtown site, the fact that it's made out of timber, the fact that we have a broad and holistic approach to sustainability, that combination of variables is really uncommon. We often will see buildings that have one or two parts of that equation, but seldom do we see the effort to put them all in one place. Our intention is to influence how those other tall buildings will happen so that they are equally considerate to the people that live in them and the people who live around them.
We've got, a building stock that is still completely out of date. We really got to renovate almost every building right now. According to scientists, we've got 12 years. I don't think we do. I think it's accelerating. The things we read in the newspaper and the things we hear on the news and social media about the impact of climate change, we want to actually do something about it right now. And we know how to. That's the stunning thing.
The south-facing aspect of the tower opens up in a wedge shape and allows for maximum solar potential. Solar used for energy, solar used for growing organic matter. The plan is to have gardens all the way up the building, to grow food on the roof of the building, and to collect sunlight. We also wanted it to not look different than the existing towers you see, because we wanted to show developers that you can build what you are traditionally used to building, but you can do it in a much more climate-friendly way. In an effort to demonstrate our commitment to being responsive to climate change, we are nearing completion of what promises to be a showcase of all the principles that we have for the Canada's Earth Tower, but in a ground-oriented home located in the Sioux Valley. We call the project Solo because it's all by itself, off-grid, located just outside of the municipality of Whistler. Our goal has always been to create a family-friendly, zero-emissions community. This project will demonstrate the maximum potential for energy efficiency. It will generate energy. It has no connection to the grid. It will not use fossil fuels. It's going to be a shining example of how to build a ground-oriented home that is in a climate-friendly fashion. My passion for Canada's Earth Tower is really simple. I marched on the 27th of October from City Hall to downtown Vancouver. It was one of the first times I've ever engaged in a public protest. But what it really made me realize is that what we're doing today is really all about these youth. I mean, yes, we have to consider the people are going to move in the buildings, but I'm really here doing this for those youth. We have to consider that. And people who want to stand in the way for their own selfish reasons can't do that anymore. When we think about buildings, even this building, the buck doesn't just stop when we build the building and somebody moves in. Those young people that will be wearing the results of whatever the outcome of this building is, there's an ongoing effect. Carbon takes hundreds of thousands of years to get out of the system, and we've already got so much in it, so why put more in? We have to start waking up to what we're doing to this planet. There's no doubt, given all the signs, that we're having an impact.
There's a lot of inertia in the industry. I think there's a lot of gutlessness. We actually have to build things that are solutions, and we can't just talk about it, we've got to do it.
I think it's important with the Earth Tower that we're taking the long view. We're not imagining short-term gains or rewards for developer or even the community that's around it. We're taking a long view. We're thinking of this building as an important part of the city infrastructure that will last for 100 years.
I'm sitting here today because I'm doing one thing, and it's one thing everybody can do, and that's try. We have to try.
We were made for all of this. You alone, my confidence. Ready for it all. This is who we are, and this is where it starts.